The lights dim, the audience falls silent, and the iconic Britain's Got Talent stage glows beneath a single spotlight. Every person in that vast theater senses that something special is about to happen. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, the kind that only happens when the world unknowingly stands on the edge of witnessing something unforgettable. Our story begins with a young boy named Malakai Bayoh. At first glance, he doesn't seem all that different from any other teenager, polite, softly spoken, and dressed with the simple neatness of someone taught to respect every moment he's given. But within him lies a gift so rare, so pure, that it reaches places no words can touch. Welcome back to the channel, where we bring you the most extraordinary moments of talent, emotion, and inspiration from around the globe. If you love witnessing true greatness, make sure you stay till the end, because today, we're diving into a performance that Simon Cowell himself described as one of the most heavenly voices he's ever heard. This is the moment Malakai Bayoh walked onto the BGT stage and forever changed how we hear music. As Malakai steps out, there's a hush across the room. Simon's eyes narrow slightly, that familiar look of curiosity and skepticism. After all, the stage has seen thousands of hopefuls. Some surprise, many disappoint, but only a few leave a mark deep enough to echo across the years. When asked about himself, Malakai's voice trembles slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of the moment. He tells the judges he's 13 years old, from London, and that he's here to sing. Amanda smiles warmly, Bruno leans forward, and Simon, arms crossed, says simply, "All right, let's hear it." The music begins. A haunting orchestral swell fills the air. The audience leans in, not yet sure what to expect. And then, he sings. The first note from Malakai's mouth silences everything. It's light, crystalline, yet impossibly strong. A voice that seems untouched by time, floating somewhere between the human and the divine. Within seconds, the crowd is mesmerized. People exchange looks, eyebrows raised, mouths slightly open. Simon's expression changes almost instantly. That guarded, critical stare melts into something far rarer, pure astonishment. He's heard thousands of singers, from every corner of the world, but this is something he's only dreamed of hearing live. Malakai's voice soars higher, reaching notes that shimmer like glass, each one perfectly controlled. The song, Pai Jesu, is one of the most demanding pieces in the classical repertoire, often reserved for the most accomplished sopranos. Yet here stands a 13-year-old boy performing it with effortless grace. The camera pans to the audience, people are visibly emotional. A woman in the front row presses her hands to her chest, another wipes tears from her eyes. Even the judges, seasoned and professional, seem to forget the showbiz facade. Amanda's lips part in awe. Alicia's eyes glisten. Bruno shakes his head in disbelief. And Simon looks almost transported. It's as if the cynical showman has been replaced by a man hearing something he thought no longer existed, a voice of pure, angelic beauty. The song builds to its climax. Malakai's small frame stands steady, his eyes gently closed, his voice filling every inch of the theater. The high note arrives, floating effortlessly, sustained with perfect pitch. The audience holds its breath. And when the note fades, there's a split second of stunned silence, that magical pause where everyone knows they've just experienced something rare and sacred. Then, the eruption. A standing ovation thunders through the theater. Cheers, applause, tears. People rise to their feet as one. Malakai, still, composed but clearly overwhelmed, smiles shyly. Simon's reaction is instant. He stands, applauding, a sight that alone sends shockwaves through the audience. This is Simon Cowell, the man known for his brutal honesty, the man who has made careers and crushed dreams with a single sentence. And yet, here he is, standing and smiling like a proud mentor. When the applause finally softens enough for words, Amanda leans in first. She tells Malakai that what they just heard was absolutely stunning, that his voice carries a purity she hasn't heard in years. Alicia follows, calling it heavenly, and Bruno, ever the passionate artist, declares that this performance transcends talent, it's pure emotion. Then Simon speaks. He pauses for a moment, looks directly at Malakai, and says, "You have one of the most beautiful voices I have ever heard in my life." The audience roars again, and in that moment, everyone knows this isn't just praise, it's history. Simon continues, explaining how he's always dreamed of discovering a voice that could move people on a spiritual level. And today, that dream has arrived. He tells Malakai that his voice is like a bridge between heaven and earth, something truly divine. And then, the moment that seals it. Simon reaches over and hits the golden buzzer. Golden confetti bursts through the air, shimmering under the stage lights. Malakai's hands fly to his face, tears spilling as the music swells again. The audience loses control, clapping, shouting, cheering. Simon walks up to him on stage, and the two share a heartfelt embrace. Simon whispers something we can't hear, but his smile says everything. It's the kind of scene that defines the entire show, the purest blend of talent, emotion, and discovery. Later, backstage, Malakai's family rushes to him. His mother is crying, his father clapping in disbelief. They hold him close, and he says softly, "I just wanted to make you proud." And that he did, not just his family, but an entire world watching online. The clip of his audition explodes across social media. Within hours, it racks up millions of views. People describe him as the voice of an angel, a once-in-a-generation talent, the boy who made Simon Cowell believe again. Reactions flood in from around the world. Celebrities, vocal coaches, and even opera professionals share the performance, praising not just his voice, but his control, discipline, and natural artistry. In interviews after the show, Simon admits that Malakai reminded him why he fell in love with discovering talent in the first place. He says, "Every once in a while, someone comes along who doesn't just sing, they touch your soul." Malakai did that. Malakai himself remains humble. He explains that his love for singing began in church, that music for him is not about fame, but about connecting with people, about spreading joy. His sincerity only deepens the admiration people feel for him. When the semifinals arrive, expectations are sky high. The stage looks grander, the audience larger. Malakai steps out, now more confident but still carrying that gentle, angelic aura. This time, he performs a breathtaking rendition of "O mio babino caro." Once again, the first note alone melts the hearts of millions watching live and at home. His pitch, tone, and breath control are flawless. It's as if he was born to sing classical music. Simon watches intently, a faint smile of pride on his face. This is not just a contestant anymore, this is an artist in bloom. As the performance ends, the ovation is even greater than before. Bruno calls him a phenomenon. Amanda says he's a gift to the world. Alicia, visibly emotional, says, "You make us feel something no one else can." Simon, in his quiet, reflective tone, says, "You are everything I hoped you would be when I pressed that golden buzzer. You've made all of us feel like we just witnessed greatness." As the competition continues, Malakai's performances continue to resonate deeply with audiences. Every note he sings seems to echo long after the show ends. People replay his clips endlessly, finding peace, inspiration, and hope in his music. Even though the competition eventually crowns its winner, Malakai's legacy is already secured. His voice has done what few ever achieve. It united people, transcended genres, and reminded the world of the power of raw, natural talent. Months later, Simon is asked in an interview about the most memorable audition of his career. Without hesitation, he mentions Malakai. He describes how that young boy's voice made him feel something he hadn't felt in years, a genuine connection to the music, unfiltered by fame or production. It was, Simon says, a dream come true. Malakai's journey doesn't stop with BGT. He's invited to perform at prestigious events, collaborates with orchestras, and records his own music. Each appearance reinforces what everyone felt that night, that his voice carries a kind of magic. He performs at royal events, charity concerts, and Christmas specials, and every time, the audience response is the same: silent awe, then roaring admiration. His renditions of sacred and classical pieces are shared by millions. Critics praise his maturity, his technical ability, and his humility. But beyond all that, they praise the emotion, that indescribable something that makes his singing feel like a glimpse of heaven. Simon continues to follow his journey, supporting him publicly, calling him a true star, not because of fame, but because of heart. What makes Malakai's story so powerful isn't just the talent, it's the purity behind it. In an era filled with digital effects and quick fame, his voice reminded everyone of something timeless, that real talent speaks directly to the soul. And that's what Simon Cowell saw that night, the arrival of his dream voice. The one he'd been waiting for across years of shows, auditions, and performances.